All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Shay.
And my name is Andrea.
And we are going to be doing a show, and this show is going to be about Black Love Matters. We are going to be discussing different topics about relationships.
And me and my friend, we decided to come up with this decision, having a conversation one day to tell people how we make our relationship and our marriages work.
So we decided in the Black community, usually people are either A, bringing other people's relationships down, or B, maybe they just don't care. But we want to encourage, and we want to just be a light to maybe a dark tunnel of anything that you may be facing in relationships, because everything is not picture perfect, but you make it work. And if you give up easily, then it'll never happen.
We also decided that teamwork makes the dream work, and that we decided to let people know that everything that you go through is for a reason, and to compromise and to come together to overcome those obstacles to make your marriage and your relationship become powerful.
That is right. So the first one that's going to be telling their story, it's Dree, and we're just going to be doing like a little summary of how it all began in our relationships.
Okay, so I remember meeting Javaris. It was in 2010. I received a Facebook message, and I looked instantly to see what mutual friends we had, and he was trying to verify that he knew me from somewhere, and I was like, no, I don't know you. So I decided to look at in the mutual friends to see who we all had in common. I decided to see that I seen that we had my god sister coming, so I was like, okay. So I called her and I asked her, I was like, do you know a boy named Jabari? She was like, yeah, that's Fonzo's best friend, which is her fiance. That's his best friend. So he started small talking. I knew then instantly that he was trying to have a conversation with me. I was like, no, I had just gotten out of a relationship, and I decided that I wasn't going to date while healing. So one thing led to the other.
We're going to start right there. We're going to talk about this little snippet of the importance of healing. Why did you choose, to hesitate because of healing?
Okay, because in relationships, once you go through certain things and certain situations with one relationship, you begin to get discouraged, which I did after coming out of an abusive relationship with my child's father. I decided that I was going to give up on love, and I wanted to take this time out to rebuild myself. And it's easy to say to rebuild yourself, but we always end up dating in the process. So I was kind of hesitant and I was scared, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let my next suffer from my ex. So that was the decision that I came up with, but that's why I said that.
Thank you. All right, now you can go ahead.
So after him having small talk or whatever, I was like, I understand what's going on, but we began to have little small conversations, and he didn't really have any games. So I was like,
game, friend, you ain't have game, friend.
I was like, no. I was like, okay, maybe he's not going to try to play me, or this is not going to go how the last situation went. So I was like, okay. But then when I realized that he was younger than me, I was like, no. This is not going to work, because I have always dated older men. So I was like, no, I'm not going to try that. This is the time for me to build myself and not to help nobody or to guide nobody's son. So, however, I began to see so much that he had bringing to the table, and I was impressed by him having his own place at the age that he was. He was working. He was a very isolated person. He wasn't doing things that normal kids at his age would do.
Kids.
I was
Fred, you a kid. It's okay.
So I was like, okay. I already had begun to see like a vision, like this could be us. It could be, certain things that he would do. I was like, he's more family oriented, and this is something that I've always wanted and dreamed of. So we began to have conversations, and it all happened so fast. We had met in the ending of July, and by September we had already made it official. So I was like, okay, cool. And we were staying separate. So I was telling him, we pulling from each other, and if we want to get ahead, if we're going to go ahead and do this, we need to do it the right way. So I was like, 2 incomes are better than one. You could go ahead and we can move in. At the time, my daughter wasn't living with me, so I was already like you know, like a little depressed about the situation. Like, I didn't want him to view me in no type of way. So that's when he was like, you know, my mom, they could be able to help you, because I was moving to the area that he was from. So that was a coincidence. So I was like, okay. So we decided to move in, but the day that he decided to move in, he called me up and he was like, well, I got a phone call from my mom, and she was like, she don't think I'm ready for this. And I was like, instantly like, wait a minute, what? I was like, no. I was like, this can't be right. So I was like, you know, I called my auntie who I had already been talking to so much and describing him to, and she was like, wait a minute. She was like, you know what? Don't get discouraged. Just let it play out, and however it plays out, it'll work. So I was like, no. I was like, auntie, if his mom makes decisions for him, this is not the guy for me.
Mama's boy.
I was like, this is not a Tyrese situation. So I ended up telling him, I was like, you know, I just came from a relationship that I'm very independent. I'm older. I was like, I know what I wanted like. So if this is something that you want, and you have spoken to your mom, I was like, I'm not for sure what relationship you and your mom have. After seeing him speak with his mom like literally every day on the phone, I was like, I don't know what she's telling you. I'm not for sure if she's putting in your head anything, but you know, the best way to know anything is to give it a try. So I was like, it's up to you. If you want to do this, we can move forward. If not, then I'm just going to go ahead and stick with my plan, which was not dating while I was young. Right. So next thing you know, he called his stepdad. He moved everything in. It just all happened so fast. And I was like, okay. We began to date. We began to move forward. We began to become teamwork. Everything was moving. You know how it all begins. Everything was good. And we wasn't able to like date at first because we were like having like financial situations and so forth. But I remember in February was our actual first date after actually dating and being together. And it was like 2 or 3 days before Valentine's Day, and my daughter had just moved in with us. We had decided that we were going to move her in to get to know him, and everything was going great. And he was like, okay, being that we don't have money, we're going to go get her a bike. We're going to go on a picnic, and we're going to have Valentine's that away at Tropical Park. I was like, wait, I've never been to this before. I was like, this sounds really cool. And I was like, you know what? Instantly, I knew that the small things became everything to me. And I was like, this is what I dreamed of. I was like, God, is this you?
Did you send me this young man?
Yes, I was like, did you send this young man? And I was like, I was just excited. I was like, a picnic. I have never did something so small that was so big to me. And it was the beginning of a great experience. And we have I seen the vision till forever.
And that's very important. I like what you said, that when you saw him, you saw potential, like you saw more. Right. And a lot of women, they tend to jump into a relationship that they already know may be unhealthy. Like the person, they point out signs of not being a great person for them, but they ignore that. But it's great to see the potential in someone. If you're dating, make sure that you see that. It's not like I'm in a hurry and a rush to jump into marriage. But if you can't see marriage with this person, why even consider wasting your time? It's just a waste. You don't want to waste your time with someone that's not valuable to you. You want to make sure whatever you put in your effort in is something that you want to last. And you need to make sure that that person is offering the same thing. And with Dre and Varus, they were offering that same thing. So she saw something in him, and he brought that out of her. And even the small picnic thing, that's something major. If you can celebrate, and it's not even small, picnics are awesome. They are great. It's just that person took the time to think of something really special, and then he not only accepted you, but then he accepted your daughter. So that's major moves. Shout out to Varus. All right, so mine, I'm gonna make this short but cute. So my husband, Willie Johnson, I did not like this man when I first met him. We met at Goulds Park in 2010, and I did not speak to him in 2010. I thought he was totally irrelevant. and a little boy, okay, because I'm older than him. So I'm like, who is this person? Like, I remember we were going to this place called Rumors. It was a club that, well, like a little, I guess, yeah, a club karaoke place that used to be in Old Cutler. And a friend of ours who also worked the party, he's like, hey, you know, I'm inviting my little brother Willie. And I'm like, he can't even get in. Like, why is he coming with us? I don't understand. I don't want to be around him. And then 2011, summer comes, and Mr. Willie Johnson, he was a bully. I want to say, like, he was definitely a bully. You know those love hits when you're in elementary school and they say, when a boy hits you, he like you? He was that guy. Like, I would come home every day and tell my best friend, like, this boy at this park is always hitting me. Why is he always hitting me? I'm not his friend. And eventually we started playing around. And then he thought I was bougie. Like, bougie is F. That's what he used to say. Oh, you bougie is F. And I'm like, how am I bougie? And he's like, oh, you walk around. And I'm like, what are you... And that just made me not like him even more. And I'm like, what the heck? What is wrong with this person? Like, he crazy. And then I remember one day my mom came to the park and she saw him and she was like, oh my gosh, she was this cute little boy. And I'm like, really? Cute? I'm like, what? And I'm like, well, maybe he is a little bit. And then my mom's like, oh, we should go bowling. So we used to go bowling together as friends. Like, he always used to tag along with us and go bowling. And that was our thing to do, like, on Fridays. We would always go bowling. And I guess I just happened to grow feelings for him. I remember he wrote me a message on Facebook one time. You know that thing where it says, oh, put this number on my status, and then I'll say something. I don't remember what it was, but I still have the messages. I put number 2, and he put something. And then he used to always write me, why you up? You always on Facebook. I'm like, why is this boy constantly bothering me?
Oh, the short talk, the small talk is really big.
I'm like, boy. And then he asked me out on a date. We went to the movies, and then we went bowling. And I'm like, you know, maybe I do like this guy. Like, I thought he was really annoying. And I don't want to say that I've dated older men, because I believe I've dated one older man. I guess you could say I like the babies. Usually they were like a year under or a couple of months. So for Willie and I, it was like a 2-year difference. But what I can say about him is that he's very mature for his age.
Right.
And he does not act his age. Like, I know some guys that I have talked to or dated who were very immature compared to Willie. So that's what I have to say. And he just great. And for him and I, the way it worked for us, we built up each other. Like, it was stuff that I had to learn from him and stuff that he had to learn from me. But our relationship, especially the beginning, was a learning lesson when we first met. Even, you know, judging a book by its cover, we had to learn from that because we come from 2 different backgrounds. So it's like yin and yang that came together to create something good. So yeah, our love story was a hate then love. That's
wow,
that's what
cool.
happened. It was a hate and love.
That's cool.
Yes.
And the funny thing that she mentioned is that you have to learn from one another, and when you come from different backgrounds. Honestly, I could truly say the thing that I admired about my husband, Javaris, now is that my mom, father did not allow them to go to church. They always prayed inside their home, and it was a big thing to meet somebody that can teach you like the scriptures and God-fearing and establishment my child to begin to go to church. So I mean, it's certain things that a man can bring to the table that a woman doesn't have, and much more the woman bringing everything to the table that they began to learn from you. So that was a really big thing, and I was like amazed. I was like, it turned me on. I was like, he's God-fearing. And majority of the times when a child grows up in a household with both parents, which I had both of my parents in my household, but then when they decided to divorce, they still tried to co-parent and stay in the household so that me and my sister wouldn't understand what the situation was. But as we began to get older, we then understand the situation. So I could tell then that he had come from a background with a father figure and a female figure inside of his household, because I wouldn't say he always talked about marriage, but it was always a conversation in our household when we first began to date, because it was, you know, it was something that he seen. So I've already knew, like, oh, this is it. So that's what the different households and the way that you grow up is totally different from people. But people have to compromise, because you have some people that are raised one way and then you're raised another way, and it's like, okay, this is what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's about compromise and giving up some things to get some of that person things, because you always have in a household, one is stronger in one subject. It's just like in school.
Yeah.
When you're stronger in math, you're weak in reading, or you're weak in reading, you're stronger in math. So it's like in a relationship, you're always going to have that. Somebody's going to be stronger in this situation, and somebody's going to be stronger. But at the end, we have to let the man make the final decision. But that comes along
right later. Not you know, you don't gotta be doing all that stuff, especially dating. Don't treat that dating stuff like marriage, because you guys aren't married. Like, what I can tell you, within the year that Willie and I have been married compared to the years behind us that we dated, it was definitely a change. Like, people may think, you know, you date for a long period of time and then, you know, you get into marriage and it's the same as that thing. I know Dree probably feels the same. Things change. Like, it changes. Like, something strengthens. Like, your attitude changes. It's something about marriage that make things official, and things begin to flow in your relationship better than it was when you were casually dating. So that's another thing. When you're out there dating people, you don't have to, you know, you give what you give to each other, but it's no need for you to do the thing that you're supposed to do in marriage, because the Bible discusses that that marriage is sacred, and all that stuff you're supposed to do in your marriage, and it doesn't talk about doing that stuff when you're dating. So make sure, once you figure out if that person is the one for you, like with their morals and values, like what she was saying about Javaris, how he brought out that religion. For me, it was opposite. I was, you know, more raised in a household where I went to church. And Willie, yes, they you know, they know God and they did go to church, but it wasn't as heavily as I was in church. And I make sure that we instill in both of our kids the importance of going to church and learning about God and studying the Word, and then us together, because that's another thing. Marriage is only work if you put God first in that household, and you have to make sure that you have a solid foundation of prayer to get you through stuff. Even when you're dating. When I was dating this man, Lord knows, okay, that I was praying. I was on my knees and I was praying, because it is very important for a child to grow up in a household with a solid foundation of mother and father.
Right.
And it doesn't matter, you know, that kid can be biologically yours or not, because my son isn't biologically mine, but he mine. You know, I mean, I have had him, but he is mine, and it's very important to have that thing too. So you need to make sure when you're dating that you're looking at that person like, can I have kids with this person? Like,
or is this person the one that I want around my child?
Right.
Because that's funny that you said that, because even with Javaris, he's not my child biological father, but he's been there since she was 4 years old, turning 5, and it's nothing that he haven't brought to the table. And when I began to date him, so many things have changed for me and my daughter. And I mean, even with us, the most disagreements that we had, it was always the beginning. It was always about my daughter, because I was like, well, we're not used to this, and you know, I was afraid, because I'm like, hold on, you don't have kids of your own.
Right.
And you're not gonna come in this household and try to just boss things around and be Mr. This and be Mr. That. But as I began to see that everything that he was doing was for my child, everything began to flow smoothly. And I was like, wow. I was like, it was amazing to see my child love somebody unconditional in the way that he loves her, and the things that he would do for her, and the time and everything that I would tell him, you know, I don't have this within my child's biological father, because I've always explained to him, no matter what the situation could be, that time is everything.
Yes.
So when even from the picnic, that enlightened my daughter's eyes, and from that day forward, everything that he did was to show us that this is something, and it's family oriented, and he was going to put us first. And I just knew he was the one. I just knew he was the one. So it's just compromising, but That's how we met. It would all begin on Facebook. So sometimes when you have those DMs, it can be worth it.
Yes, or your job.
Not every DM, but
maybe that one.
That one, yeah.
You never know. All right, guys. So we thank you for watching our first episode. Make sure you tune in for the next episode where we give some insight on some of the difficult times that we faced in our relationship that may be encouraging to you. All right.
The been through to the breakthrough.
Awesome. So thank you for watching Black Love Matters. I'm Shay.
And I'm Andrea. Bye.